Box. Tonight's guest will be Superintendent Raymond Torrey. Ladies and gentlemen, the toilet papering king of America, here's Johnny! Give that lady some free candy back.
Yeah, you
there.
get free candy. Where's the candy, by the way? I missed that before the show. Yeah. Well, I'll find it before the show's over. Jim, what a band tonight. Are these people? You sure they're good at? They're not too good to be on this show?
Oh.
So what's the deal? We have all kinds of new members tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a couple, even ushers in here. Ushers make the big time.
This is Marla Wesley, and this
Marla.
is Chris
Yeah.
Ekstrom.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing tonight?
Fine.
Is there something wrong with your eyes, or what?
No, they all have black eyes.
Okay. Yeah. These two guys have been with us before, right? Are they going to be like new members, or
Yeah.
just what kind of semi-new? And then of course Tony Perkins down there, who's with us all the time, and John Stromberger there on the drums, right? We always ask the drummer if he has any comments, but John never seems to have any, so we're not going to ask him. Tony is going to be featured here in a few minutes on Know Your Band. We were missing a couple members. I hear they're on probation or something.
Yeah.
We won't get into that now, will we? So Jim, you got this beautiful equipment here. I hear you have a few seconds of a very popular song you'd like to play. Go ahead, Jim. That's just super, Jim. That's just super, Jim, and we have all this special equipment, so the band has a real featured number coming up in about 5 minutes, and they have singers tonight. The girls are going to sing, right?
Real.
It's going to be really exciting here tonight. So Mike, what's been going on this week? Anything new to report?
It's been marvelous. Marvelous.
Well, what's happened? Anything exciting?
I'll let you say that, John.
Nothing exciting. Well, we really don't have too much to report, except we did get a letter.
A letter?
Yeah, the letter, it's kind of a strange letter because I didn't exactly, here's the letter right here. I didn't exactly, know what to think of it, but it's from Mr. Woodward's next-door neighbor. And, why would we be getting a letter from his next-door neighbor? I don't know. Anyway, it actually, not only was it a letter, but also came a care package right here to me to the high school. And in the package was this. And I have no idea what this means.
Well,
but
I told you to pick that up, John.
The neighbor said he found it in his yard and thought it belonged to Mr. Woodward, so send it back to the school. So, now I know nothing about that.
Mom might use it. Leave that home there.
So we know nothing about that, so I don't know what his next-door neighbor thought, but no idea.
We TP'd, huh?
Anyway, tonight we have, we're going to feature a band member tonight on Know Your Band, and I don't have my Know Your Band sheet. That's N-O, your band. So Tony wants to mosey on over here. We're going to talk to him for a few minutes.
Tony, you look marvelous.
Tony, how you doing? So Tony, what ever made you want to be in this group, the Surgeons?
Tom Fishback.
Tom Fishbach? Was he your motivation in life?
No.
Can we quote you on that?
No.
It's too bad he couldn't make it tonight because he's got a wrestling meet and things just aren't quite as fun without him. But he's not even in the Surgeons anymore. But so you have a good time in the Surgeons?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not Surgeon, but we practice most.
What do you
This
practice
other
most of the
band.
time? The other band? Tell us a little bit about that. Jim tells me you're the president of this other band.
Yeah, he elected me. I don't know why.
He elected you?
We play like popular music on the radio.
Like the jump we just heard here?
Yeah, we do that, but I mean, it's not. I mean, we've got some music. We got some backup instruments, plus the guitars and drums and synthesizers.
And all that kind of stuff. So you're mostly involved in that band, and the Surgeons is kind of a sideline?
Yeah.
But the Surgeons is
Surgeons
important,
not
right?
Yeah, it's important, but it's
right?
not as hard, you might say.
It's not hard?
It's
Okay.
not as hard.
No, you guys sound really good tonight, and you're going to be featured in a few minutes. So are you in the high school band also?
Yeah, marching band, jazz band.
So band's really your in thing?
Well, I'm in baseball too. I like
baseball?
that the best,
You do?
I think, yeah.
But you really spend a lot of time on band. When did you get
Oh, yeah.
started in band?
Oh, 5th grade.
5th grade, and then you've been playing all the way through, and then once you got in high school, you're a junior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've been in high school 2 years now, and so you spent a lot of time on band.
Yeah, let me see, I got jazz band, and I got concert band, and I got Jim's band, and I got the Surgeons, and I got marching band. But I'm going to have to drop jazz band next semester.
All right. How do you find time for baseball?
That's why I have to drop jazz band.
Oh, okay. So your baseball's just in the spring then, and you drop jazz band. Now you're not going to quit the Surgeons, are you?
No.
And you're going to keep up in your schoolwork, right? So you
That's
get
why
to
I'm
keep
here
playing
still.
with the Surgeons. Yeah, I know
We lost a few people because of grades.
Yeah, but we got to get them back getting their good grades because we all know that's what's most important, right? So you said you're interested in baseball. What else do you do in your free time?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Just sports. at
Just
home,
sports.
yeah.
I hear you're part of the official Tom Fischbach TPing
TP?
group.
Oh, yeah. And
And you're proud of it.
Wait a minute, I want to thank you for doing my house this weekend, and I want to know what that means war.
I didn't do your house
Oh,
this
no,
weekend.
no. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
no,
you did. You
no.
did Fischbach and mine.
Can I join
No.
your side?
Oh. I wonder why Mr. Woodward's trying to pick sides. Yeah, he got 1 point for tonight. No, I really didn't do your house. Mike, did we do his house?
Oh, no.
We didn't.
No.
We didn't.
Toilet paper, what's that?
We didn't. You sound like a hitman or something, you know.
We did it, we liked it. We didn't.
So you did do it.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't me.
No,
I'll just tell Tom.
Yeah. Well, we would never do anything like that. Now, when you're not toilet papering, which you seem to be doing a lot, what else do you do?
Toilet paper.
I don't know. I mean, really, right now, this is the off season, and when the baseball comes in, it's
Yeah.
just baseball. And
So your band really takes a second
Oh,
seat
yeah.
to baseball?
Well, next semester. Right now.
Yeah,
First
well,
Friday,
obviously.
everything.
But do you practice for baseball all year round? I mean, like
We lift
weight
weights
training
right
and
now.
that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Are you a real good baseball player?
No,
What
I'm not.
position
No,
you
I'm
play?
second base.
Second base? So you are pretty good then, I suppose, huh? And your fans
Ask
are
the
out here
coaches.
tonight?
I don't know.
Ask the coaches. We could do that. We could bring in...
Oh, God.
we could, yeah. Now, you know I'm not beyond doing that.
I know.
Anyway, we want to, any other, this is your big moment, any other big thing you'd like to express to the whole nation while we're on here?
Nation.
Well, the Agemeyer Network's expanding farther than ever. Remember, 24 hours.
We are surgeons. Surgeons are going to be having a lot of new songs we just bought, and we're going to be playing them.
You guys Christmas is coming up. Are you going to have some Christmas music?
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I should announce the Christmas show is only 2 weeks away from tonight, and we're going to have all kinds of fun. We're going to have cheerleaders. The cheerleaders will be on the show that night, and
I can't do anything.
we're going to sing Christmas songs and have food and just all kinds of fun. So you're sure going to want to keep your grades up so you can be here.
All right.
Anyway, Tony, I want to thank you a lot for coming over and talking. And now you guys are going to have a real special feature with girl singers and everything. So go ahead, Jim, with that.
Testing.
Got to make sure the microphones work.
Lonely night. Oh, people sit with their heads bowed down. People need love to make their burdens seem lighter. That's all for me. People whose dreams have all died away, people with nowhere to turn, need to be loved even brighter day. Love is the thing for which I'm That's all for me. It's a great reason to live. Love can make shorter the longest mile. Love is a gift that you can be That's all for me. That's all for me. That's all for me.
Our singers for tonight are Don Harkins and Andrea Asher.
Hey. You girls did a super job. Are you going to be permanent additions to the surgeons in the vocal department? What? I know, contract disputes, right?
Yeah.
That's what it always is.
Definitely.
Well, you guys really did a super job, and I hope you can come back and sing with them again sometime. Huh? Anyway, it was just the surgeons really sounding great this year. Anyway, my main guest tonight is the superintendent of Washington High School, and he was with us last year and wants to explain about his job. But he's going to come on tonight and talk about the North Central organization that just visited our school and evaluated it. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Superintendent Mr. Ray Torrey. So, how are things going around school right now?
Well, great. Just real great.
As I mentioned, the North Central team did just come in. I believe they came in on November 12th to 15th, so that was about 3 weeks ago. And 27 educators came, and then they left with a written report. I have a copy of it right here. It's so 120 pages. Why exactly did they come to the school, and what was their goal?
Okay, first of all, the North Central Association is a voluntary accrediting agency for approximately 17 state area in mid-United States. This school has joined North Central since 1917, I think was the first year. We've been continuous members ever since. The North Central Association provides some assurances to the general public, not only locally but statewide and nationally, that this school strives and will meet standards of education, of excellence of education for its students. And one of the things that they require, the North Central Association, to maintain that membership, is every 7 years you must undergo what they call a on-site visit by a team of fellow educators from throughout the state. So this was our 7-year cycle, I guess you want to call it.
Does the school have to be in the North Central Association?
No, no, John. It's North Central is a voluntary organization, and you find good schools are members of North Central.
Are there a lot of schools that aren't?
Yes, unfortunately there are. Those are the schools who have trouble, number one, meeting standards of North Central, which are fairly stringent. Either they lack the resources or they lack the personnel. For some reason, they choose not to belong and subject themselves to the
You say maybe they have trouble meeting up to the standards and therefore don't want to be
many of them, yes.
be accredited by this. Now they, the North Central team, like I said, left with this big report. What did you think about this report? I'm sure you've read through it and have some thoughts about it. What do you think about the report as a whole?
Well, I think as you read through it, you're going to find it to be a very positive report for Washington High School. One of the things you must remember about North Central teams or any evaluation team, I guess you can't find everything that's good. You're there for a purpose, and you find some things that you think need improvement. Now, a couple members of the team says this was a difficult visit for them because they had to look hard to find things they could criticize. They felt in some of the areas they felt very good about the fact that there wasn't a lot of things they could come up with that they could be critical of. The team chairman, Dr. Manos, I think you probably talked with him.
Yeah, he was on the show, and he mentioned that same thing. He said that the one thing he mentioned more than anything else were the people, the students and stuff. He found it to be a real friendly atmosphere, and he said he had a very enjoyable visit.
Well, that's what he told me when he left, and I suppose we have to be thankful for the students and staff that we have here, because without a doubt, everybody I talked to, that 27-person team, and I talked to most of them, all commented on the friendliness of the school, the ease at which the students seemed to be in the school. They didn't seem to be under a lot of pressure or anything like that. The staff was friendly. Those kind of things add to a very positive image for your school, and I think in that respect we know that we're doing a pretty good job.
Who primarily is this report for? Just for the school itself? Did each of the teachers get a copy of this report, and do they get to read through it?
Well, what we will do with the report now that we have it in its completed form, John, is first of all we must file a couple of copies with the state chairman of the North Central Association at the University of Illinois. They will look at it and review it. We must file another copy with the regional director, Dr. McVeigh at Bradley University, and he will look through it. But the primary use of that report will be put right here in this building with these people to take a look at it and then begin the third phase of the North Central visit. That is the implementation.
Okay, so the teachers will get to read through it and see what the problems were?
Yeah, we handed out the report in the interest of economy, I guess. We didn't duplicate one for every teacher. I think we put out something like 75 copies, one to every department. Of course, the Board of Education will get their copies, and then the administrative staff and so forth. But the department copies are the ones the teachers will be using.
So each of the teachers will have access to a report then?
Yeah,
So the teachers already had a chance to look at this in the Board of Education? Is it something that's already been discussed?
Not discussed. The teachers just got it, last
So it's
week.
just really just gotten prepared then?
Right, the board will get their copy this Friday.
Okay, so it hasn't been shown to the board yet or discussed
No,
in
it
any way?
hasn't been discussed in any way, anywhere.
And what if somebody's parents or something out in the community want to see a copy of the report? Can they do that?
Oh, most certainly. We encourage and invite them to come in. We'll put 1 or 2 copies in the library for checkout purposes. Certainly any of those in the administration office are available. We would encourage any of the citizenry of District 308 to come in and look through the report.
So you don't have anything to hide in that manner. You want you want the community to be able to see this report. And what did you think about the report? I noticed when I was reading through it, I noticed one of the first sections, just talked in general, and I know all the people that wrote it said, you know, one of the things they noticed, they thought, like you just said earlier, overall they thought everything was really in good shape here. They thought they were really impressed, I guess, with the educational aspect. And then they went through by departments, and they discussed the department, and then they you know, listed the positive aspects, and they listed the negative aspects and possible solutions. So it was kind of set up that way. What did you think about some of the negative things they said? Did they point out anything that you didn't already know? Do you think it was valuable in that way?
They didn't point out anything that we were not totally, or at least somewhat aware of. They may have highlighted some things that we may not have put a high priority on as being a concern. Brought them maybe to the forefront a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there was any great surprises to the administrative staff, at least, in the whole report. I think you must understand that in our organization, the administrative staff cover the entire operation fairly closely and are pretty perceptive of problems as they come up. So I don't think there were any real surprises in the things as far as we're concerned.
What about the things that were in it? Are they things that, did you like just downright disagree with some of them and say you don't think they're problems, or are they all things that you've already been working on trying to solve?
Oh no, we don't agree with everything that's in there by a long shot. Maybe if I got into the implementation part of it a little bit, and would help explain what we intend to do now. Our next step, starting in January for this report, we're going to go over it item by item. And if you read it, you saw in there was a whole list of recommendations, 220 or something like that total. Each one of those is going to get the attention of at least two groups. The group that originally wrote the self-evaluation, and then the department itself, if it's a departmental concern. And they're going to have an opportunity to either agree or disagree with that recommendation. And I'm sure they're not going to agree with all of them. I know in the sections I read very closely dealing with the overall picture, like staff, school staff, facilities, those general areas, there are several in there that I don't agree with. I'm going to have an opportunity to express my opinion to that effect, that I don't agree with that.
That's the thing, by no way is this report law or anything. It's just something that's supposed to bring to your attention these things, right? So if the school administration, the board, I guess, don't feel that you know, they really are problems, then they just, you know, will be overlooked. I mean, it'll just be decided that they shouldn't be changed.
If we don't agree with them, probably they won't be implemented. And the thing you have to understand is this is pretty much a committee thing. It's not going to be a one person making that decision. So I'm sure there's going to be some arguments and some disagreements and a lot of harsh words over some of them, because I know in my own staff, my couple of assistants, we disagree on a couple of them already. So we're going to sit down and hammer them out and come up with a conclusion that it is good, or it is a good recommendation, or it isn't.
And what about when Dr. Mass, when I interviewed him, he, I think he gave a figure, and I don't remember what it was. It's something like there was a study done or whatever on the last North Central report, which was 7 years ago. He mentioned that a very high percentage of the problems listed there were corrected. I think he said it was 70-some% or something like that. So you did that with the last one.
Yes.
And so apparently that was very successful, right?
Yeah, the last visit 7 years ago, I think, had 130 recommendations in it. At that particular time, the vocational departments, like business, industrial arts, agriculture, home ec, were not evaluated. They were evaluated through the Division of Vocational and Technical Education, a different report altogether. So they were not subjected to the North Central visit at that time. But excluding those, there were 130 recommendations. The staff agreed with 118 of those, and as of this visit, we had implemented, I think, 92 of that 118.
So that is a very high percentage.
Yeah, some of them won't be implemented. Let's face it, we all know one of the major problems we have is, and you have it here, is the lack of a auditorium or an adequate place for dramatic presentations, musical presentations.
Yeah, that's
so
one of
forth.
the things they listed.
That's very obvious. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
We've got one small problem.
the money.
The last time we checked on providing such a thing, it was $2.7 million.
Rule that out.
That kind of slows things down a little bit.
Just can't run to the Washington Bank and get the money for that.
Not hardly.
That's one thing I noticed where some of them I thought would be money. Like one thing that was pointed out was enclosing the area between the east and west gyms, because PE classes do have to go outside, and switching gyms. Again, I assumed, they mentioned that was something that just because of money, that's the reason that hasn't been done, right?
Pretty much. I think that was in the last report 7 years ago, too. And again, it's one of those things that you agree with. It's a good idea, but there's some priorities. When you have roofs that are leaking, that seems to take a little higher priority than closing a walkway.
Mm-hmm.
And the money is one of the problems that you have to deal with. And for that reason, some of the recommendations simply won't be implemented.
Well, I noticed in the section about the building, they did, however, say it was in very good condition. And one thing they pointed out was how they thought it was very good that the community had so many activities here and stuff. They said that's something they found here that they thought was very good, I guess, like other organizations from the community having stuff here in the building.
Now we really make a concerted effort to get the community to use the building. I can't think. The Weight Watchers, for example, are regular users of the building. Rotary at one time was a regular user of the building. Others come in as need may be, but we have a fine facility. We have an excellent banquet facility in the Commons area that is attractive, can seat, if we have to, squeeze in 400 people. Certainly the largest banquet hall in the community. Mm-hmm. Gymnasiums, of course, for their various functions. So we work at encouraging community use of the facilities. They belong to the community. They ought to use them as long as they take care of them.
I noticed a couple of things I was going to ask you about. One thing they mentioned was the lack of school assemblies. And I just wondered what you thought about that, because there really aren't that many. I just wondered if there aren't a lot of school assemblies because you disagree with them, or just why there aren't. Because I guess that's something they thought there should have been more of.
Yes, they recommended that we increase the number of assemblies. We've been operating for the last several years on the theory of about one per semester of various kinds. One entertainment type. We've had several, of course, on the drug, alcohol abuse. I suppose one of the things that you have to be careful of, and why maybe this is one of the reasons we don't have too many, the quality of the kind of program that is out there for high school audiences has to be really looked at very closely. There are a lot of them out there that are geared for elementary. If we brought some of those assemblies here to our student body, mm-hmm. You guys would either laugh them off the stage or create a problem that we really wouldn't want. So I don't think there's that many available. Secondly, those things aren't cheap by any means. A good assembly program probably will run you $1,500 to $2,000 for a showing or two.
So the money aspect comes even back into that?
Yeah, that enters into it. And thirdly, as I mentioned before, our facilities for assemblies are not the greatest. Now, this fall we had that assembly from California. I forgot the name of it now, but with the AV presentation.
Yeah.
That really took us, our custodians, a good week to prepare for. Simply with having to cover all the windows, sure the doors were properly handled, all the seating arrangements, moving things around. And it's an extremely difficult task to do. We can bring in a speaker, and put him up in front of a group, and you'll sit and listen for 45 minutes and go back to class. But those are some of the reasons that we really have not gone in for assemblies.
So you really don't know how productive it would be if a speaker just got up. Is that kind of what you're saying? And
the
good ones cost money.
Yeah, if they have a good message, fine. We brought Toma into the community, or we didn't. The community brought Toma here. Yeah, you're not going to find a more dynamic super speaker. I don't know if you were in school then.
Yeah,
when he was here. Okay, just an outstanding speaker. He also demanded a high price, so you can't afford him every year. And I don't think you'd want him every year. The following year, we brought a gentleman in to speak. Same topic, nowhere near as effective. And I think you probably know from that. In the third year, we brought another one in. It's probably less effective. So it seemed to be going downhill. So we said, hey, wait a minute, enough of this.
Let's try a good speaker. In other words, you got to pay for him. It's just that simple. Another problem I noticed that was interesting, because I had never certainly thought about it at all, was it was mentioned, I think, two or three different sections of the book, was the lack of involvement between the high school and the grade schools. I wonder what you thought about that. They mentioned that in different departments, how some of the feeder schools should be working more with the high school teachers and setting up programs, I guess, so that, you know, that we're equal, that kind of thing.
Okay, the articulation aspect of education. I think that you will find that any district or group of schools that's organized the way we are, with the elementary systems being under their own superintendent, their own boards of education, and the high schools, the people who visit will give you that impression that there is not cooperation between those groups. I disagree with that part in District 308 territory. Our associations with the grade schools are excellent. At the administrative level, we have monthly meetings with the area superintendents. We call it ourselves the Washington Township Superintendents Organization. We meet once a month, share ideas, thoughts, problems, cry on each other's shoulder, whatever it takes.
So you guys do get together. It's not like you never do. Okay.
The principals get together. Mr. Kerr meets with the grade school principals on a bi-monthly basis. If we're lacking in anything, it might be where the teachers meet face-to-face more than once or twice a year. But as far as programs are concerned, we at the high school don't see that being much of a problem. The people who come in from the various grade schools all have a good background. They have excellent backgrounds in math, in English. Probably a weak area we might have to look at doing something in the area of science. We think we got to get together and plan a more coordinated program in the science field.
So maybe they're learning different things at the grade school level? Is that what you're saying?
I think that what's happening is that the approach to science, because it's so diverse a field, is a little bit different. One school might have a person teaching science who's more skilled in the biological science area. So students who come out of that school have a good biology background. Another school, that person might be a physical science person. They're strong in physical science, not as strong in biological science. That kind of thing. But as far as being inadequately prepared, no way. The students come out of these grade schools here are well prepared in all areas.
So you think the grade schools, along with high school, are doing a good job too?
Yeah, I think education in this part of Tazewell County is one of the best you're going to find.
I noticed another thing to point out. It had a chapter in there about the staff. I know it had almost only good things to say about the staff. They mentioned like the team approach to the staff, saying it was very good and that they all had high morale. I noticed one thing it did mention, however, and I wondered if you thought this because of lack of money, was that they said that they thought there needed to be more visibility of the administration. And I wondered, do you agree with that, or do you think do you think that's because there are too few administrators? Because we did lose an administrator a couple years ago, and what do you think about that?
When we cut back an administrator when Mr. Tressner retired, and took that particular job and spread it among the rest of the administrators, it did cut down on the time that I or Mr. Kerr or Mr. Johnson had to be out in the trenches, so to speak, in the classrooms and so forth. I think visibility is important. I think it's probably a valid criticism. Excuse me. But I also know that there's a time restriction on how much my assistants can do. They have certain jobs to do, and frankly, the paperwork of a school administrator in these days is just, I guess it's like a lot of other jobs. The paperwork just seems to be getting more and more each day.
So you have to stay in the office and do that, and you can't get out. Huh?
Right. We picked up the responsibility, for example, of special education. That alone, I can count without even thinking. 7 different forms I have to fill out on a monthly basis, just to handle the special education aspect of the program. School finance, of course, is becoming a bigger burden all the time. So those kind of things tie administrator more to the desk. And I think their criticism in that report about visibility is probably correct. And we've got to find a way to get out and become more visible. Yeah. Visit more classes, talk with teachers, see you in the hallways, etc. I know you people don't like to see me in the hallways.
No, we don't. Like I said, there were chapters in here about each of the departments at the high school. Of course, we don't have time to go into each individual one, but in reading through the report, which department, like science or math, those, the big departments, do you think needs the most working on? Is there one do you think of? I know they did speak pretty highly of all the departments in here, but is there one you think that needs more work than any of the others?
Well, there's one area that we have to address, and I think the report does an excellent job in it, and that's in the area of mathematics. First of all, our mathematics department itself is an excellent department. Teachers are excellent, they're dedicated, they're hardworking, but the structure of the program that we are delivering in mathematics needs some attention. It needs attention because with the freshmen this year, every one of those freshmen is going to have to take a second year of math. For the students, for those like you, John, in honors classes, no? Anyway, the honors student has a very fine program at the freshman, sophomore, junior level. We think we need something at that capstone level in the way of a finite math or a calculus class that's going to be a capstone to that particular program that we see as a need in programming and math. Mm-hmm. The area that I see as being a critical area also is the youngster who struggles in math and maybe in the general math sections. Where does he go for that second class? Now, he struggled in math through 8 years of grade school. He's probably struggling a little bit in the general math area right now. Now we're telling him, young man, you got to take another math class. That's almost like throwing the Christian to the lions. So we think that's a problem. What we're looking at there, and I think it's in the report also, is we think there's something like called an informal geometry, where space relationships are studied rather than the x equal y type mathematics that you've probably seen. Yeah. So we think that's an area in that department that needs some attention. The other large departments, English, I haven't read that one too thoroughly, but I think one concern we have there is the number of courses that we are offering in English. Maybe we need to cut down the number and broaden what we call the basic core classes, 1, 2, 3, 4 type approach rather than too many electives. Science, we also, I think, need some work at the lower level science program. Again, for those students in average and below who are struggling in science, we need something that's going to increase their ability in the scientific field. So, speaking of the big departments, that's the ones that I see on that area.
Well, it looks like you've got plenty of work ahead of you on going through this report. And here is a copy of the report. And so, like you said, this will be available, in the IMC to check out for people, parents, or anybody in the community, I assume, right, that would want to see a copy of the report and see what's going on in the school. So I want to thank you a lot for coming and clearing this up. Maybe sometime in the spring you can come back and tell us, kind of how these things were implemented. So I want to thank you a lot for being here. You can forget everything you heard about the toilet paper. We would never do your house. Don't worry.
Us?
So I want to thank you for watching tonight, and we'll be back next week. Good night, everybody.